Week one of Steelers training camp is in the books, and I've got 15 winners and 5 losers to break down from that first week of Steelers camp. But first, help us win the month of July in the AFC North here at Chat Sports by helping us win our sub-battle for the month of July. And right now, we are right on the Browns Report's tails right now, just down 5 subscribers from the Browns Report. So if you want to beat the Browns, you want to help us win, you want to subscribe to us even for just a week, just to help us beat the Browns. See if you like the content here. After a week, if you don't like it, unsubscribe, whatever. But I think you'll probably really like the content here on Steelers Talk because we got comprehensive Steelers news and rumors coverage, covering training camp, covering preseason, all the way leading up to that week 1 matchup against the 49ers in week 1. So if you want that comprehensive fan experience for the Pittsburgh Steelers, help us beat the Browns today by clicking that subscribe button right now. Now let's get to the winners for the Pittsburgh Steelers after the first week of training camp. Of course, the pads go on Tuesday, which I'm super excited for, but it was mostly just shorts and helmets this week, and there was definitely some interesting names of winners. I've got 15 of them for you right now. Let's start with the quarterback, Kenny Pickett, who to me was a winner. Now, was he absolutely lighting it up? Was he like a Patrick Mahomes level quarterback during the first couple of days of practice? No, he wasn't, but he showed some really nice growth in some very specific areas that I want to break down. Number one, the command of the offense is 100% there. You can tell that he has more command of the offense in terms of being able to audible at the line of scrimmage, being able to check protections, all these different things that he wasn't able to do in his rookie season. Matt Canada, the offensive coordinator, has now given the keys to the second-year quarterback, and he's definitely using that ability well. Like, you've seen it in a couple of clips here that have come out on Twitter from Steelers training camp practice, that he is really doing a good job at getting into the right checks, into the right hot routes, and delivering good passes and protecting the football, which is another thing that I'm enjoying from Kenny Pickett. Last year, did a really good job of protecting the football down the stretch when the Steelers won all those football games and almost made the postseason. And right now, he just has 1 interception through the first week of training camp, and that was off of a tip pass in the rain. So I'm not really putting too much stock in that interception. He's doing a good job getting through his reads and putting the ball where it needs to go. And then probably the biggest one for me is that he's stepping up in the pocket more often. Going all the way back into college, Pickett's problem has always been leaving clean pockets, all these different things where he's leaving clean pockets where you could just step up and deliver a pass to the middle of the field. He's been a little bit skittish in the pocket before, and you can really tell he's making an effort here to really hone that area of the game and really do a better job at stepping up in the pocket moving forward. So I like what I'm seeing from QB1 thus far in camp. Now let's get to our second winner here today, which is rookie outside linebacker Nick Herbig, who has had a lot of reps with the number 2 defense, and he's absolutely dominating LaRaven Clark in drills right now. Now, obviously, the defense has a little bit of an advantage with the pass rush because there's no pads. There's nothing for the offensive lineman to really grab onto or anything like that. But Herbig has done a fantastic job. He's showing incredible bend around the edge. And then when he got reps on Sunday with the first teamers, because TJ Watt had a day off, he looked fantastic as well, going up against the offensive tackles on the first team offense. Then you get to a wide receiver that's really showing out here and showing a great connection with Kenny Pickett, Allen Robinson. You get that trade for him with the Los Angeles Rams this offseason, and this is looking like an absolute steal. It's like on Friday, actually, that second day of training camp, he really showed out. Multiple touchdowns, multiple big gains from Kenny Pickett. I'm super excited to see what that Pickett-Robinson connection is going to look like here in 2023. And then somebody that I was really looking forward to seeing at training camp this weekend, Patrick Peterson. All the rumors that we've heard about him moving around the defense are 100% true, and he's flying around, man. He's going from like starting in the nickel, then he shifts over to safety. Sometimes he'll start up high as a safety position, then he'll go to like the slot. Sometimes he'll start outside and shift towards the slot. And there's a bunch of different things and rotations that they're doing with Patrick Peterson, and he is thriving in that role based on what I have seen at Steelers practice, which is super, super exciting heading into the year. And then another player here on offense that I really enjoyed watching on Saturday was Hakeem Butler. Had multiple contested catches, had kind of a rough first day there on Thursday, but he really came back over the weekend and really showed his ability there with the second-team offense. I think that he's got a pretty decent shot at making the final 53-man roster as that backup X-receiver to George Pickens. But let me know how you're feeling about Hakeem Butler down there in the comments section. Will he make the final roster? Give me a yes or give me a no. This is going to be the pinned comment on today's show. So YouTube's going to throw you an ad break here in just a couple of seconds. Take advantage of that time by giving me a yes or no down there in the comments section. For me, my answer is yes. I think that he's showing some really, really good things. He's showing some explosiveness. He's showing the ability to make those tough catches down the field. And at his size and with his athleticism, I think that's going to be a real asset to the Pittsburgh Steelers, especially as a backup player. So I think in the end, he will end up making the final 53. Then we continue on with our list of winners here. Now we got Alex Highsmith, who is absolutely proving that last year was not a flash in the pan. He is absolutely dominating in those 11-on-11 drills. Now, once again, like with Nick Herbig, like the offensive line is at a disadvantage because of no pads. So I guess we'll have to see how Alex does when the pads come on Tuesday. But I'm super intrigued with what I'm seeing from Alex right now. He's getting multiple sacks, multiple strips, or would-be strip sacks every single practice, it seems. So I'm super excited to see what Highsmith's going to do now that we have him locked up for the next half decade. Then a really, really great surprise here during training camp is that Connor Hayward has been looking absolutely fantastic. We've heard the comments from him throughout the offseason that there's not a defensive player or linebacker that can cover this guy, and that's absolutely correct. He is an absolutely fantastic route runner. He is always open. He is good after the catch, and he's really carving himself out a really significant role in this Steelers offense. He even got a couple reps on Sunday as a running back, so I'm super excited to see what Matt Canada has in store for Connor Hayward here in 2023. And then a new signee for the Steelers, Cole Holcomb, had a really, really good week of practice as well, especially in pass coverage, which has kind of been the question mark with Holcomb throughout his career. Had a couple pass deflections, and he's generally been looking like that number one linebacker on the Steelers depth chart, which is incredibly encouraging there. And then somebody that I have to mention here, George Pickens, is looking like that true alpha type number one wide receiver. He's getting multiple chunk play catches every single practice. They're targeting him down the field on dig routes, all these different things, and I'm super, super excited to see what George Pickens is going to be able to do for the Pittsburgh Steelers and Kenny Pickett here this season. And then a rookie corner that has really been showing out, at least in my opinion, at practice is Joey Porter Jr. He's been going stride for stride with guys like Calvin Austin III. And the big thing with Porter is that some people questioned whether or not he was going to be able to keep up with those kind of shiftier, faster wide receivers. And I think Porter has undeniably confirmed that he can do that. He's looked really, really good in his first couple of practices, and he is on his way to starting Week 1 as an outside cornerback for this team. Coming up, I got 5 more winners and then 5 losers from Steelers training camp this week. But before I get into those, go ahead and get Joey Porter Jr.'s Steelers jersey from our friends at Fanatics. Use our link, chatsports.com/Joey Porter Jr. If you think JPJ is going to be the next lockdown number one corner for the black and gold for the next decade, I certainly think that. I think that with this family's legacy, I think JPJ has a chip on his shoulder after escaping the first round. I think he's home here in Pittsburgh, and I think he's going to ball out starting this season. So make that investment in JPJ's jersey right now by visiting the Fanatics website. Use our link to let them know that we sent you. Go chatsports.com/Joey Porter Jr. today. Now, 5 more winners before we get to the losers here, starting with running back Jaylen Warren. And when I was there live, man, it really seemed like Jaylen Warren is going to be one of the best receiving running backs in the National Football League. He reminded me so much of Austin Eckler, the way that he moves, the way that he catches the football, the way that he finds open space. It is something that is truly special as a receiving running back. Now, of course, Warren is good when they hand it off to him as well, but I think that Warren, on those third down reps there where you're needing a true receiving weapon from this position, I think Warren is going to be an incredible weapon for Kenny Pickett and Matt Canada to utilize this year, and I'm so excited to see what Jaylen Warren can do in his second season in the National Football League. And then let's stick with running backs here. RB3, Anthony McFarland, really showing out a little bit here. Of course, during OTAs and minicamp, the rumor was Alfonso Graham, the undrafted free agent, was kind of balling out a bit, and he was kind of challenging Anthony for that RB3 spot. But those things have kind of waned here during training camp as McFarland has broken off for multiple big runs, and it's definitely looking like that McFarland is starting to solidify his role as the RB3 on the Steelers, at least for this season. And then somebody that's been a big surprise for the Steelers here, especially on Sunday, Kenny Robinson, safety, had 2 interceptions on Sunday, which was absolutely massive to really make this guy stand out to the Steelers coaching staff. A likely cut candidate here, and Kenny could still get cut, but he has been showing out a little bit here, especially on Sunday when he had those 2 picks. So Kenny Robinson is a name there in the secondary to keep your eye on during those early preseason games. And then a wide receiver that I have to mention here, Calvin Austin III, the speedster, has really been showing that speed off. Now, he's had a little bit of trouble with the contested catches down the field, but that's kind of to be expected given his size and catch radius and all these different things. But when you can get this guy in open space, oh my goodness, is it electric. You can see the speed just absolutely unravel on the field when you're watching him live. It's definitely 4.2 level speed that Calvin Austin III possesses. And if you can get him on those shallow crosses, on those digs, all these different things, I think if Matt Canada uses Calvin Austin III the right way, he's going to be something really special for the Steelers this season. And then another kind of surprising member of the Steelers secondary that has played really well is Elijah Riley, because like Patrick Peterson, they're using Elijah in kind of a hybrid role, almost like a slot corner / safety. They're moving him around. They're using him as that disguise player in the Steelers defense. And when you got Elijah Riley and Patrick Peterson on the field at the same time, the Steelers defense is doing some really interesting things with shifting coverages at the snap because of the versatility that these guys bring to the table. He also had the first interception of Steelers camp there on Thursday against Mason Rudolph. So Elijah Riley is definitely making a name for himself here with the Pittsburgh Steelers in the early days of camp. So show some love by clicking that thumbs up icon and liking today's video if you are pumped for the first day of pads. Things are about to get real down there in Latrobe. Day off for the Steelers today, but tomorrow things are about to get heated. If you're excited, go ahead and click that thumbs up icon right now. All right, so now it's time to get into the losers, and I got 5 names here, and I do want to say here before I get into this list that this doesn't mean that they're bad players or that they won't get better here over the course of training camp in the preseason. It's just that they didn't have a great first week of camp, and they need to pick things up. We'll start with the rookie tight end, Darnell Washington, and listen, when the pads go on, it's absolutely possible that Darnell shows his capabilities more. Now, I think that the takeaway that I came away from DW here in the first week is that the receiving end of things is going to take some time, right? The connection with Kenny Pickett isn't really there right now. He had a tip pass that ended up being an interception that wasn't fantastic on Saturday. And then, I'm just looking at Washington. I think he's going to do a lot better as a run blocker here in 2023. I think eventually he could become a really nice receiving weapon for this team. But I think that takeaway there is that at least right now, the receiving end of things for DW is just not coming along. Then we get to the center here, Mason Cole, who really had the best year of his career last year with the Steelers as the starting center. At least on Saturday, was not looking very good whatsoever. Allowed multiple inside pressures, even to guys like Montravius Adams. And then he was also putting the ball in the dirt a lot for Kenny Pickett. Lots of low snaps when they were in shotgun. He needs to get better in this regard, because if he's going to be the starting center here, we're going to be relying on Mason to really be the guy that he was last year. And at least for this first weekend, Mason Cole was a disappointment. And then you get to a guy like Alfonso Graham, got a shoulder injury on 7-on-7 drills on Saturday. And, with the rise of Anthony McFarland and the amount of big plays that he's been able to generate, it's definitely looking like Alfonso Graham's chances of making the final 53-man roster are waning. I think that he's got a shot to make the practice squad, but if McFarland keeps making plays there with the second-team offense, it's looking like Graham will not make the final 53 here in 2023. And then Mason Rudolph, he's had a lot of interceptions here over the first couple of days of camp. I think that he's still probably the favorite to be that emergency quarterback, that third quarterback option for the Steelers this year. But I think he's opening the door just a little bit for undrafted free agent rookie Tanner Morgan to kind of slip in there because Morgan's been looking pretty decent and Rudolph has thrown multiple interceptions. I know Rudy has his supporters out there and they're saying, oh, you're just overreacting, whatever. But, Rudolph has had multiple mistakes throughout this period so far. And listen, I'm rooting for Rudy. I think that, when he's at his best, he's a decent backup quarterback, but just through the first couple days of camp, it has not been his weekend. And then we get to a starter here for the Pittsburgh Steelers, Landon Roberts. And this isn't necessarily because Roberts has been playing bad. He's actually been playing pretty decently. It's just because the Steelers brought in Quan Alexander, somebody that's going to be taking playing time away from him here during the season, at least in my opinion. Quan Alexander, you bring him in to be that pass coverage specialist in this linebacker unit, and plain simply, Landon Roberts is a pass coverage liability. So it's looking like to me, Cole Holcomb is going to be the every down starter and the true first linebacker on this depth chart. And then Landon Roberts and Quan Alexander will likely split reps depending on the situation. Roberts will play early downs because of his ability as a blitzer and as a run defender. But then, when it gets to second and long or third and long and it's obvious passing situations, 2-minute drill, end of game situations, that kind of stuff, I think it's going to be Quan Alexander because you just can't trust Landon Roberts in pass coverage at this point in his career. Maybe Roberts proves me wrong on that point throughout training camp, but the fact that they still signed Quan Alexander months after he came in for a visit tells me that they feel like they need him on this team, and the likely culprit for that is that Landon Roberts is not cutting it in pass coverage right now. So let me know what you guys think in the comments section. Which linebacker is the better player? Is it Landon Roberts? Give me an ER if you think it's him, or do you think it's Quan Alexander? Give me a KA if it's the newly signed Steeler. And for me, I'm going to say Quan Alexander if he is healthy. When he's healthy, he is an absolute bruiser in the run game. He's great in pass coverage. He's a borderline Pro Bowl caliber player, but he is coming off an ACL here. He's 28 years old, so he's still pretty young. But, last year, just an okay year with the New York Jets. There was a reason why he was still available in free agency. He's had an ACL tear before, so I'm looking at Quan Alexander, and if he's at full go, I'm saying Quan Alexander every single day of the week, and I'm so excited to see what he does for the black and gold this season. So now don't forget, guys, that'll be it for today's show, but make sure you subscribe to the Steelers Talk program here to beat the Browns report for the month of July. We're just 5 subscribers away, so I'll make you guys a deal. Go ahead, click that subscribe button. Help us beat the Browns. If you don't like what you see here in a week, click that unsubscribe button. But I have a feeling that you're not going to want to stop once you get our daily coverage. All right, that's going to be it for me today, guys. Really do appreciate all the support. I will see you guys later with more Steelers news and rumors coverage. And as always, here we go, Steelers.